John Wanoa here. It's Monday, 11th of January 2016, Rotorua. I'm just calling Kingi Taurua in Auckland just to check up with what's happening at Waitangi. Let's hope that we can get him. Try again. Get it. King.
Yeah.
John Wanoa here.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm fine.
You in Auckland or up north?
I'm in Auckland.
Okay. Hey, I just want to catch up with you this week sometime. I'm still in Rotorua. Haven't gone back to Auckland yet. So I'm just doing the affidavit, the agenda for Waitangi. And I want you to see the whole thing. I'll bind it up for you so you know what's going on there and with John Key. And Obama should be in Waitangi on the 4th. They're going to sign the TPP. And I'm thinking now that he's going to do it up there at the Quapthorn on the day that we... It's online. It's on the news. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm only picking that he would go up there because he's usually at Waitangi to come in on Te Tii Marae around about the 4th or the 5th. And so it's lining up with what they're up to. And they normally would have a meeting in Auckland with Obama, but he'll be have all these his security and probably half the flipping federal police there following him around. But I think John Key is trying to wrap the whole thing up and knock us out. So I was hoping, I'm going to write it up on a one page for the Taumata to head off and open the Parliament upper house quicker on the 4th before they pass the act of those 12 countries will be here. And I'm not going to take any chances, eh? And so the Hohepa was supposed to see Peter Paraoni to get that flag up on the pole before they use the Admiralty to steal our flag and open their 12 country thing up. So it should all happen. I'm going to write it up to happen on the 4th, on the Taumata on Te Tii Marae.
Yeah, okay.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, I was supposed to meet with them on Thursday, but I'm fucking tied up on Thursday. I'm getting pissed off because these meetings that whoever is arranged is bloody during the week, and it's not bloody good for me during the week. I wish they bloody would do it during the weekend, you know?
Yeah.
They need me there. But around here, you know, I'm so tired of during the week, I just can't get there. But anyway, yeah, talk to me. Whatever you do, I will support it, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's going to be you're the last word with all the taumata there. And I think there's enough word gone out now with Hohepa that I don't think it would have made any difference whether you went to there, his hui or not, because he went and rubbed me up the wrong way. And so I'm not going to the hui, right?
I heard that.
Yeah, so he's been pleading with me, but I'm not going to answer because he's got enough out of me and it was swinging over his way. And I wanted to make sure that you'd have the last say. And it stays that way. It's going to stay that way. He's not going to hijack you or anybody. And the Taumata know enough. They've got enough support to pass the upper house. All they need to do is pass the damn thing and it gets authority over John Key making decisions.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. A lot of people are talking to me about that.
Yep.
That they had
Yep.
And on Friday, they want me to also to come to Hui and not be here. They're going to lay the Kaupapa down and they want me to come to support Kaupapa. I said I'll support Kaupapa. Anything to do with our something. So that's all I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll say to you, do what you think, and it won't make no difference whether you go to that hui or not, because the taumata is over 50% that I can see assessment of myself that they'll put their hand up when they open up a house. So all you have to do is carry on going. Yeah, hohepa. It's hohepa is a hoha. Hoha, you carry on, and it'll work out exactly how it should. But I'm saying to you to try to get John Key onto the Te Tii Marae somewhere on the 4th before you open the upper house.
I've already sent a message. That we're going to have a tent, and he's not coming into the mine.
Yep.
And I've told Hapu
Yep.
that to send a letter with my signatures on it.
Yep.
So they have done that.
Yep. They done that?
Hey?
Have they done that?
They've done it.
Yep, good. That's all it needs. That's all I want to hear.
Yeah.
And all I'll do
They rang me and said they've done it. So all I want is to let John Key know
Yep.
that they are not coming into the party. We are going into a tent.
Good. Okay. That,
They said okay.
yep.
And I said I want to send a letter, and then they told me that they already had.
Yep. Good. That's okay. So long as the taumata agrees. I know by looking at what Hohepa wanted me to be a secretary, I'm going to write all the notes up and give it to you.
Okay.
I'm going to write all the taumata, the national taumata, to be in your hand and nobody else.
Okay.
Okay? So,
I'm always in support of you, mate.
yeah.
Let's have to do it.
Yeah, no, that's how it'll happen, and I'll have it bound up for you by the end of this week.
Okay. Okay, mate.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Okay, mate.
Right.
Bye. Kia ora.
Well, that's Kingi Taurua, the chief of Te Tii Marae, is going along with what I'm saying. I just want to confirm to the taumata in Waitangi that I've just spoken to the chief, a long-standing rapport with him and myself over the years, that he has full confidence in me and my decisions, and I have full confidence in him to make the right decision this time, the head of John Key and the TPPA, before they sign that into law in the 12 countries. They will be subject to the upper house of Parliament on the taumata, on Te Tii Marae, and he's saying it'll be out in the tent, wherever, on the land. It didn't make any difference whether it was in the whare or on the land. It's going to be where he says, and so far they have agreed with him, regardless, no disrespect to Hohepa, Epiha. He's doing a fantastic job to bring all the taumata together. I commend him for that, but I am specifically saying I know that marae for a long time and how it operates its hearings as a court, or as now the highest authority in this land, native, otherwise. I am going as the surrogate King William IV, and they know that, and the whole world knows that. I am there as King John, as of history, to the native indigenous people of this land and the Pacific Islands, that the Moai statue is our indigenous native Tahitian memorial title to these lands and all the lands in the Pacific, where the TPPA and their 12-country conglomerate states have gone into claiming to own some interest in it without the natives. Unfortunately for them, we're going to be ahead of them on decision making. I told Kingi we will open the upper house on the 4th before John Key passes his acts with those 12 countries to pass their laws so that they can go over New Zealanders and also the native. I won't say Maori because that belongs to John Key. All that is under Maori land titles, Maori land courts, Maori tribunal, Maori everything belongs to the Crown. We are going under Moai native title and nothing else. We are going under the Taumata as the elders and the oldest of the chiefs who are the ruling authority and sovereignty of this country because the Queen has vacated her position as a sovereign authority to New Zealand government. Now put the affidavit online today on my Facebook site, John Wanoa versus Natalie Flowerdew Brown, the detective who arrested me. You'll see that it's tied with her fraud to Queen Elizabeth's fraud and the government as being a police state with their own police law, going over the top of New Zealand law society and the approved New Zealand barristers and solicitors and lawyers proof law. Now, once again, I've just got off the phone at 8:54 p.m. Monday, the 11th of January 2016, for the record of Te Tii Marae in Waitangi, Bay of Islands, New Zealand, in this historic moment that I am in charge of what happens to that flag, the 1835 Declaration of Independence flag, and its commercial, trading, Bank of England partnership with the British military, obligated with the Navy. The British Navy and the New Zealand Navy are now obligated to protect our business between us and Britain. The 4 nation states that we are going there, Jamie, Anna Marie, Patrick Stewart, and myself are going to England to raise our 1835 Declaration of Independence flag of the Hapu native of Aotearoa, New Tireni, or New Zealand. Now, I want to make it quite clear that our intentions are public, are notified to John Key and his government, and his Governor-General, Jerry Mataparai Andrews, because he's Andrews, his real surname is Andrews, not Mataparai. That's just a whāngai adopted name, surname. And he is of the St. Andrew's Church, and King William is of the St. Patrick's Order Church, the 8-point star that's on our flag, and the badge that was on my shirt as my authority to King William that Natalie Flowerdew Brown confiscated as evidence in her court case against me. John Hawani Kahaki Wanoa, natural person in lower case, versus Natalie Flowerdew Brown in lower case. Now you'll see, I've explained everything online on that website, Facebook site, or on YouTube today, explaining how she did forge her documents. She created herself with her own hand, and not a lawyer or a barrister or the Solicitor General. She did this completely on her own, and then enforced it on me as if it was real. Now, this is the irony of New Zealand law, which has gone from being for the public's interest to the police interest and their corporate private businesses, flouting New Zealand law. They told me not to break New Zealand law. I'm just pointing out to you, I've broken no law, because Judge Grant Fraser found me not guilty and cleared me of any charges on the 3rd of October 2015. That was the end of it. That was the end of a contract between me and him and his Auckland District Court. Now, the police detective, Natalie Flowerdew Brown, arrested me. Then she had a constable there assisting her when she came into my apartment in Aotearoa, 07B 16 Park Avenue in Aotearoa. She served the documents on me as a detective, and her assistant constable was standing there. She wrote the papers, documents, and she enforced them on me, all by herself. The next thing is that she got the constable to take me into the police station. That's the front office. She's a CIB, Criminal Investigation branch of that private business at the back and the public business at the front for constables who are the only authorised person to arrest any public, not the detective. So she did the arresting of all the marshals. There's 8 of them altogether. She managed to get 6 and me, and managed to do all this by herself. Goody for her, because she's liable the whole 15,000 police, plus all those people on Cook Street. I'm warning you people on Cook Street, we are into a phase of ending corruption and fraud in this country once and for all, and the rest of the world using Queen Elizabeth II now that she's gone from you. And you've got nothing to rub 2 stones together in law. I'm just making a clear statement in this affidavit and this video that we are expressing or enforcing our own law on the 4th of February 2016, the 1840 Treaty of Waitangi celebration days, 4th, 5th and 6th of February. From this court case, it extended always to Te Tii Marae, from the Marais in the East Coast and the Marais in Auckland. I've done all my cases in front of Taumata, only on Marais. And we have already got 2 mandates from Kingi Taurua and his Taumata to go to England, to Westminster. I've never had the money to get there until I arrested 61 Cook Street, or what they call 77 Cook Street, just to confuse people. So, in saying so, now that we will establish before trial a settlement out of court with my native assessor, Pamia Maka. Very good at what he does, to settle with the judge and chase after Natalie Flowerdew Brown, detective, and issue with an affidavit to refute it in 72 hours. Now, that gives us time before the 27th for me to write to the court to ask for all the disclosure of these things I'm just talking about, of what is not disclosed in their full disclosure documents that Natalie Flowerdew Brown forced on me. She forced entry on my property and my shirt and my name, my natural name, and changed it into these corporate legal persons, fiction persons, and arrested me the natural person instead of the corporate person, who they should have gone after at least 5 John Wanoas. Sounded like my name, but they took me into custody anyway. That is the issue that she has to tell the judge and answer my affidavit to those questions that I'm asking of her. How did she put this together? With what authority? And whose sovereignty? And whose jurisdiction did she use to arrest me? And if she doesn't answer the affidavit, my native assessor will go to the judge and tell him, because he's going to give him a copy, Judge Brent Gibson, does he know? The last judge on the 17th of December 2015, my last court hearing. I've been to at least 5 court hearings since I was taken into custody by this Natalie Flowerdew Brown, amateur lawyer, if she thinks she is qualified to do a lawyer's and a barrister's job. I'm surprised that my barrister is gutted by someone playing around with his profession and using documents that wouldn't even get past him. And he's just come from America, where they practice mortgage fraud and land transactions all the time with those laws that this country has no federal state to use. That's why they have no jurisdiction to do these cases, which I'm familiar with and proficient in exercising how they work. I've done my research. She hasn't. Clearly, she has missed the mark as far as picking on the wrong person, me, as being real estate proficient and in land transactions and protecting our own interests, our own native lands. She's alien to this country, just as much as other people who are here only on occupation titles. Those titles are mortgages. They are not real titles. They're only paper and computer-generated titles. We can step in any time and put our name on them, and that's what happened on that Cook Street. LINZ, or Land Information New Zealand, failed to take 2 of my caveats to put our interests on that land as the owners. We didn't have financial interest, but we certainly owned the title to the native land itself. Now that's who I am, that they've underestimated my authority as speaking for the chiefs, especially Kingi Taurua, the last man standing on his feet in Waitangi and the oldest, which is how you determine who's the chief taumata of the land with the last say. Now, we'll get back to Kingi. He has already made arrangements up to the stage where I'll give him a binded copy of the agenda of how I see it from a rangatira, me, an ideas man with the projects and also the means of a Moai crown, King William IV, Commonwealth government of the world, under the New World Order, taken off the Pope and given back to these common people using the common law and native law over and above any other commercial law. That the Pope has destroyed all admiralty law, corporate law and trusts. He created all of that using King William's 8-point star. Irish St. Patrick's Order as his New World Order. He's not even Irish, as much as I am Irish with the Cosgrove name, and Jamie with a Patrick name as being Irish. That's one thing, and English with the Rogan judge's name to these lands. that put these titles in Auckland together, all the way to Gisborne, Hawke's Bay, and through to Auckland, first titles to Britain. That's my family. Judges from Australia, Rogan, John, and New Zealand, the later John Rogan. And the lawyers, Cosgroves, are lawyers in my family. So there you go, straight to Britain. I said it, and Kingi knows it, and those taumata certainly have amalgamated, come together in Waitangi, in Ngāpuhi, thanks to Hohepa and his efforts for doing that. But however, we've got our own duties. I've got my role to speak on that marae. I've always had the chance to speak ahead of even the taumatas themselves. Kingi gave me the floor, because in respect of me sticking to him all these years, and all the other taumatas who have gone and passed away and left me all their information, from Mohi Manukau to Hare Ututonga. Ututonga's taonga is from East Coast of my land blocks, on those Bay of Islands lands. But regardless, we are still of the same indigenous native, and all else does not matter, only the enemy and the threat that's looming with John Key and his corporates, which cannot go any further from the fourth, and I'm instrumental in getting the upper house of Parliament open for any government, Maori government, Native Council, whatever, as the national government and the Moai, King William, Commonwealth government of the world, right over the world, overarching those titles. And we will trade under that flag right through the world, free passage, with any country that trusts the King. So I'm speaking for King William, the real William, and his descendant, King Ernest Augustus, the present King of Britain UK. That's always been on record. He's the King of Britain UK. And he's the King of Hanover, and he shall become the King of Moai Pacific Islands and the rest of the world on 250 countries that we are promoting with this flag. The 1835 Declaration of Independence flag of the Hapu, and their continuity of sovereignty to Britain from 1835 to 2016, unbroken sovereignty, right through. Ernest Augustus, 14 AD, King Solomon, King William the Conqueror, King William IV to Ernest Augustus V, 2015, live and ready to take over as the King on our behalf of the world and our business. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say, really, is that I want to make it quite clear to the taumata in Waitangi, Ngāpuhi, and the rest of the taumata around New Zealand, that we are going to Waitangi. I'm just saying to all the taumata and Tainui, Ngāti Pro and Ngāti Kahununu, and Tuhoi and Ngāpuhi, Arawa, Te Arawa, and Hauraki, and Wanganui, those ones. All of you must come up to Waitangi with your taumata, and it might be only enough room for them and no rangatiras. So the rangatiras have to give their plans, their development plans and their laws to their taumata, and on the 4th the taumata will shut the door with me and Dan Kingi. I'll be taking the minutes and filming on behalf of all the taumatas this country. On that day, the 4th, the taumata will be united with the marae, Te Tii Marae, and their Ngāpuhi elders. And on the same day, I'm going to make sure that they have a copy of each taumata with a one-page double-sided straight law to sign and tick the box of at least 12 of all those to represent this country and the Pacific Islands, for that matter, from that marae, Te Tii Marae, straight to Britain and straight to the United Nations and straight to the World Court in Brussels and to Switzerland, the bank, and to Westminster Parliament and Devon, King William's property in England, Plymouth. So on that day they will open the upper house as early as possible, as 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm making sure that Peter Paroni, the chairman of the Waitangi Marae on the other side, will allow the Confederation flag to go up straight away, up the top of the pole, and lower the Union Jack flag, 1902 Union Jack of New Zealand, down to the right-hand side to replace the 1835 flag that's always been on the right-hand side of the crossbar and the British flag on the left. There will be no other flag in this country. The war flag remains. John Key will not be permitted to override the taumata, the sovereignty of this country. We are taking our sovereignty away from everyone who is alien to our national interests and our world interests of Moai, King William Party. Political party in England and political party here on the East Coast on our land blocks of the Moai people. Okay, so that's the Wanoa Moai people straight to Raiate Island in Tahiti and to East Island, Rapa Nui, to Mokanui on the East Coast on our land blocks. And our Marangaroa Marae will be our founding of our native people to Ngāpui up north, which is the political title. The spiritual title is at the East Coast with the Moai and the Sun Ra. That's how it's going to go down. Take it or leave it. Just accept it and get on with it and leave it for the young people to pick up. We just do our job and get this country free of alienation, and the private elite shall be no more of control on the people of the world. We free up and set them free with this flag that'll save Britain from disaster. Anyway, so the fourth is the establishment of authority over this country. The upper house is open for business, trading under that flag right through the world straight away. And it will supersede the lower house in Wellington. It's always been a lower house with only a 3-year term, and our term up there is never ending. You go till you drop dead. You don't change any minister of political party if he's doing a good job. That's it. So our political structure will change on that day, the 4th. Then on the 5th, the rangatira will form a government of sorts. Sunakora, Gisborne and Tainui will have their own government. Whatever, it takes a year to implement, and you can always come back a year later and join again. We'll have opening to bring in more taumata and their laws, and we will improve year by year. Until we are satisfied, we'll go 5 or 10 years at a time if we're happy with what we've got. So that's on the 5th day. They will form a government to govern. Whether it's a full government or a skeleton government is immaterial, because we now have an authority to operate as a government, to govern ourselves. And John Key will be decided on the 6th day. His fate will be at stake. Now, on the 5th, the rangatira and their projects and their plans, the taumata have already decided on how a government should be run, but they cannot govern. They can only watch what John Key does, veto him, or watch what the new formed Maori government, or call it what you want, Moai government, it doesn't really matter. So long as it's not Maori in it, that's going to be tied up with Te Ture Whenua Act. We're going straight into the 1830 to 1837 Act of King William, right back then with the Moai. King William, Commonwealth Government of the World, will go under his acts, but the acts of what the new government on Te Tii Marae Taumata will come out with, the rangatira, will be up to their own selves to decide as national, the other being international. Okay, so then now we got the 5th day, the rangatira will come in front of the taumata. The 12 taumata out of the whole, there might be 60 or 80 taumatas in there, and out of them they'll be picking 12 to lead the country. And so those taumata, the 12, will give consent to whatever government is formed, and now they become legal. The flag is the last to raise after the taumata have approved its raising on the pole. Then that would have been up ready for business. And John Keys will be no longer able to govern on that court. That's what that mast is. It's a ship, Admiralty, shoved on our land, and their flag flying on the top, which was 200 miles out to sea. The Union Jack flag, 1902, is on the sea, shoved on the land with that mast off the ship. The 1835 Declaration of Independence flag was given on dry land. So that's the difference between a land flag and a sea flag. The sea flag can get thrown back in the sea, it came from, and John Key and all his elite can get thrown back in the sea with the sharks. And no more, or put in a container and shipped to Guatemala Bay for hard work and labour, cheap labour. So that's what's going to happen on the 5th. The government will be formed, ready for business, whether it's a skeleton or otherwise. It's a real government, approved for the whole country, alongside dual government with John Key, or if Sue Nikora has her way, she will sack John Key as she did before with me in 2012. So this time she'll sack him right out. I think she's already had some dialogue with Sue. They've always been a pair of those older people with ideas that they thought would work. I'm there. You heard what Kingi said about what I'm saying. He's always supported me. I support back the same way, and it sticks. So then, on the 6th day, John Key will come in on that marae, and he'll be given stern words on whether he's going to march right off or limited to a dual government as debtor. My preference is for John Key to be still governing his people and his ministers reduced of power, but I need them for debtors. Because if Sue Nikora sacks them, then we'll have to chase after them to make them pay up. And so they'll be lost of their jobs where they are doing, and that'll throw things into chaos. I don't want chaos. I'll make a better decision to go dual till they're gone and weed them out one by one, and there'll be plenty of forward business, certainly with Moai Crown cases on the marae or in the courthouse. We go straight to the courthouse and sit on the other side of the judge, and they'll be subject to what we say. So that's what that flagpole is. At the Waitangi marae is a courthouse jurisdiction of Admiralty from King William IV in Britain. That's our partnership that they're playing around with. I'm going there to audit our books, the Queen Victoria Trust that the Queen has run off with, to EU Parliament and drained all the money out of HM Treasury and left it bare with a big debt bill. Here it's 118 billion debt in New Zealand racked up. And that's what they've been doing. You'll never get out of it. You'll never get out of it, people. And Taumata, listening, until we put our flag up and open the upper house. That'll be the end of debt bills and mortgages. We're getting rid of mortgages because the Pope has demolished mortgages. He created the mortgages, the liens, and the government screwed it up. Okay, so Taumata, once more, this is a recommendation to you, listening to this video. John Wanoa in Rotorua, New Zealand, coming to you live, that we have a decision-making process, the last chance, because the TPP is a business of its own taking over this country, and you will have nothing left because they will demolish your rights, they will buy you out with little, they will take away the Treaty of Waitangi documents because they created it, they will take all the titles away from the land because they created it, and they will take all your names and your birth certificates away from you with all the money with it because they created it, and we'll have no debtor instruments to build them. That's why I've got a pound note, a 970 million trillion pound note there, legal, as soon as I get on Cook Street. So Taumata, don't be surprised if we get that sorted and the rest of the whole country and 66 million acres of land back into the King's ownership. Bench, King's Bench, Court House. At the moment, the Queen's Bench, Court House is just one big debt, and you'll never get out of it. So this is the way to do it. I will put the affidavits aside because it's finished now, and my barrister won't be back till the 14th of January. So Pamea is going to give me the affidavit to sign so that I can send it back post, and then I will give the barrister a copy. He will take that and he will approach the judge himself from that side. We're going the native side, we're going the corporate side, and he will chase after Natalie Flowerdew Brown. One policewoman did the damage. She injured me personally, and she injured my shirt and King William on it and his badge on the other side, the highest authority in the world, would you believe. She confiscated it and stole it and took it away as evidence. The silly woman didn't do her research. As an amateur, the police are hiring amateurs to do a law job, and she's not a lawyer qualified to make law. Okay, so that's where you got it wrong, police. You stand to be corrected, but you've underestimated me and my ability to do proper research before I open my mouth and say anything for the King. I am here speaking for the King of England and the King of Britain, UK. And there's nothing anybody's going to do about it, because what I say goes. My chiefs have the legal right to foreclose anybody in the world, because the Pope cannot touch our contract. It's private between us and King William IV. In Salic law in Britain, woman is forbidden from succeeding to this king's title. It stays in male bloodline, King's Bench Court, and it's still there. Look at the courts and you'll see King's Bench Court, judge, silent partner. No more silent, because we're talking now to level the accounts and audit the books of our trust. We are still beneficiaries in our state because we receive the benefit, and everybody else receives the benefit in New Zealand because of that reason, that we are still in a contract, private contract, with Britain and Westminster. It's institute law, locked, extant forevermore. Cannot be changed by anyone but someone like myself to go there as native surname only, not
anything else to change that partnership and marriage to the Queen. Going to go there, sever her title and take over her job as head trustee of all the 250 countries in the world, that the King is now going to rule, as it still is King Solomon's mines and his gold trail that we're going to go and audit with the British military. So that's what I'm saying, Kingi, to you. Thank you very much, mate. You're doing an excellent job with leading the people, although it's a very hard task to crack the bank code and expose what they have done for a long, long time. That's been the biggest bank secret in the world. Now busted. Okay, and this was the only way to do it. And we will close over the top of the 1840 Treaty of Waitangi obelisk. We'll leave it there, put a box over it, and make it look invisible, and then put the 1835 Declaration of Independence plaque there in its place as the memorial to King William IV, as it still is our connection to Britain. The devil you know, then the devil you don't, is our last bastion with Britain falling apart. We're going to go there, Jamie and I, to patch it all back together and put Humpty Dumpty on the wall again, and the 10 green potholes were sitting on the wall. Okay, so once again, to the people going up to Waitangi, to the rangatiras who know me for a long time, and to how it's going to run successfully, is that we listen to each other, share our information, put it on the floor, like Nuki Ulrich was saying for a long, long time, and let's make something out of it and ease the burden and take the pressure off the next generations who don't have to go through all the trauma that we're going through for a long time. It's taken a long time. It's taken me at least 15 to 20 years to get this far and to do a complete job with all the people for evolution of what's happened. We are here now. We've got to go along with what we're living with and change the leader at the front of the bus and put the new leaders in. So, taumata, once again, when we go into the marae on the 4th, I'll be taking the notes, I'll be filming as the only ones to film. Kingi might have somebody else to film, but I'm saying, as far as I am a secretary of the taumata of that marae, and I was doing some of that for Hohepa, but it's plenty of writing, it's too much, and I wanted to keep my own business going with my staff, and that's been suffering for over 6 years now because of all these other issues, political issues, land issues, and international issues, flag issues, and business issues, and also personal issues with one Hapu to the other, and also public appearance and popularity online, where I've made a lot of traction with people who are watching what happens, and persistence is paying off, being there in front of them all the time, which I want to get confidence from them. Once we get Cook Street, then the rest will follow. So the taumata, I'll come in on the 4th, we'll shut the door, no one goes, until we get a decision very quickly. I think we've got, looking at it, over 50%, thanks to Hohepa Epiha's efforts to bring those meetings that he's had, and I couldn't go to the one on the 14th in Aotearoa, and the other one in Te Tii, before the Waitangi Day celebrations, because I'm bogged down with my own legal work and the Commonwealth, Moai Commonwealth government. That's going to go in there from the East Coast with my own taumata, Tamati Reid and Rapataka and Mano o Raroa on our A7B block. So those people down there watching this video, you come up to Waitangi. I'll see how we get on with getting through with our documents. I'll pass over to you, Tamati, all my plans and laws of Moai Crown and King William Commonwealth Government of the world in the 250 countries. That's full on. It's all there online and too much for anybody to comprehend. If you're not in that class of intellect, then it's not quite for you. Yeah, we'll pick those people from the world and not so much from one country, because they're going to come from each country on membership to the Moai Tidal Energy Project and pound note. So for the taumata, the pound note is one of the issues against the debtors to create the revenue from people such as Natalie Flowerdew Brown, detective, and Aaron Pascoe, who did the Tuhoi raids illegally, and Tim Duthie. Those are three detectives, Tim Duthie, that booted me off the land and trespassed me, and now they're going to have the opposite put back on them. They're going to have to pay for their mistakes in our court, the King's Bench Court, not the Queen's Bench Court, because that's utterly corrupted. Has been New Zealand Police one of the worst corrupted outfits in the world, because they can get away with it, because the Rothschild banks and the Queen's business is right here in this country. New Zealand Business Roundtable and Intuition New Zealand Limited, they changed their name to that to hide themselves, and all their corporate business, 80 of them, in NZ Invest New Zealand Limited, downtown Auckland. So there, I'm just telling you, taumatas, I've got that side sorted to build them against their personal names. That's what the Pope said. Each person, police, enforcement officer, judge, lawyer, barrister, politician, Governor General, Prime Minister, they are all liable. Church ministers, they are liable personally, themselves and their natural names. Pick them out. That's what I'm doing here. 40 people were involved as accessories to the land owners, proprietors, James Pierce Brown and Simon Brent Roundtree, landowners of 66 Cook Street or 77 Cook Street or 90 Wellesley Street, Auckland, as being party to the fraud. Third parties tampering with our information between me and those two landowners who failed to refute the affidavits. Now, that created a private defaulted contract by law that they are automatically levy debtors. Okay? And that will happen to everybody who doesn't answer our affidavits through the court now. Now, Natalie Flowerdew Brown, you have to, this is to you, you have to refute my affidavit that's on Facebook and on YouTube. You have to refute it. If you don't, then the case is dismissed straight away, because it's no use you asking you to do it 3 times, because there's too much against you. You have no case to answer, and you're hiding away behind dead people in capital letters. NZ Police in capitals is a dead person, and there's a live person who was talking and doing the prosecuting against me. That wasn't you. That dead person and that live person didn't injure me. It was you. It was you. That's what the Pope said, go after you. That's why I'm going after you, one by one, 40 of you, one by one. I'm going to get a £1 trillion note on your head. Okay? And the balance of what you can't pay, the Queen gets the rest of the bill, the Pope gets the rest of the bill, the Church and State gets the rest of the bill. Evelyn Rothschild, chairman of the Rothschild dynasty, and elite families, 300 of them, and the Church and State, they all share that bill, and the federal state US government. And everybody else who has a corporation started off, and a trust started off with King William's 1830 to 1837 Admiralty, court-martial law, mortgage liens. documents. Okay, anything that had his flag on, that's ours. Anything that had his naval flag on, his head on it, and his Admiralty, not Vice Admiral, that's a Queen. The Admiralty will be liable. You're liable against that 970 million trillion green pound note with me and Jamie's face on it. Okay? And thereafter, the trillion pound note against each person in this country and around the world, each person, that's not the business yet. That's just that person. The business is another person. The dead person gets the bill too. Bigger than that. Okay? So you'll never get to 970 million trillion, but at least it'll take it off and give it back to the common people who join us in a membership in the world. Okay? So, Taumata, cheer up. Not the end of the world, and you'll be lucky to see this one out. So we're just short of 1 hour on this video, which is a little record, because someone asked me to keep going, don't stop, because they don't like not hearing the end of the story, rather than the beginning of the story, right to the end. I think you got the whole lot this time around. And we're saying this, the flag that we got, the 1835 Declaration of Independence flag, 1835, from King William, is the only king flag in the world that has many features in it, including it's a bank flag, it's a commercial trading flag, it's a British military protectorate flag with a black strip around the red cross. It is a British Emperor and Roman Emperor flag of the 4 kings and the 8 kings, including King George I, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, King William IV, and King Ernest Augustus I. 8 kings on that flag, who have all got a line of King Solomon's mines right through the Gold Trail that I'm going to audit as the new head trustee in place of the terrorist, fraudulent Queen Elizabeth II. Now, she's abandoned ship, so as to speak in Admiralty terms, and gone into the EU Parliament. That's the end of her. It's vacant now of any monarch sitting in that position. This is a message to you, Prince William. Do not touch our flag. Do not assume authority of King William IV's jurisdictions, name, bloodline, and his inheritance to his gold and his wealth created from his laws. Now, you're Spanish, and the King and Queen of Spain is you. Your father is Juan Carlos, Spaniard, not Irish, 8-point star, or British, or German, Swiss, Danish, King William IV line. You're Spanish. So your William name is nothing to do with King William and our flag. So you keep away, okay, you keep away with your fraudulent, corrupted, pedophile family. And Prince Charles, you keep away too. Even though you're Welsh, you're still a pedophile and tainted with your mother and her fraudulent side of Germany with Angela Merkel, who's about to be dumped as the leader of the EU Parliament and all that racket. Okay? So that's a clear message to John Key. You already got a lien on you and a levy against you in the High Court of Admiralty in London. I'll action it straight after I get on the Cook Street. The pound note will kick in against the Levy Debtors on that property, and banked, it's already in the NZ Bank anyway. All those notes that you see online are in the NZ Bank in Auckland, Queen Street, and going into the foreign currency account in London. NZ Bank there, for now. For now. We'll have our own bank, the Moai King William Bank, with the pound note, the gold, bullion vault, and the water money currency, and the Swiss Indo belongs to King Solomon's mines and all those kings I just mentioned, the Roman Emperor and the British Emperor, and that trail of gold down that king line, unbroken sovereignty, monarchy, right to me and my native people as host partner. And that line that the Queen has run off with all that wealth, we're going to recover with the British military. Pay them with the pound note in advance to go and look for all the missing gold, 1.5 million tonnes, metric tonnes of gold missing, and also all the wealth in the land, 66 million acres of land, that's worth 17 trillion, it's worth more than that, and everything they stole, church and state, and all the racket inside Farm Act, Monsanto, and Bill Gates, vaccines, chemtrails, fracking, and all those wars that the money has gone out of our trust to pay for. You're going to lose all that. All that we seize and confiscate with the sheriff in the King's Bench Court. Okay, so that's all I want to say. We've just gone over the hour mark on this video, but I hope you got something out of it, and the people watching what's happening with how to solve a sovereignty problem, how to solve a world problem, how to stop the mad racket of the Queen, and the only way is to prick it right at the top end, which is up at Waitangi. Okay, so good evening to you all from me here in Rotorua, Morris, nice place, friend of mine, beautiful woman, who wouldn't have wished for anyone better than her as company with me, and Jamie, our business and our staff, Desmond, Wanoa, and also Kevin Rias in Tauranga, and Moira and her friends that we're associating ourselves, feels like a family, and I feel like that here, better than my own home, at least in Auckland. But we're hoping to go to Tauranga, set our base up there to the East Cape and to north to Ngāpui, to protect all our shores and our deep sea out into the ocean, at least 500 kilometres out, or 500 miles out, whatever it is, past the 200-mile zone of our titles around New Zealand, and also around the world, as being King William and his titles, that we are going along with the British military, and patch Scotland, Ireland, England, Wales back to what it was before, and Hanover, and now the Pacific and the world on top of it. So that must be the gong to say stop. So we'll see you later, and thank you very much. Bye for now. John Wanoa, Rotorua, New Zealand.